Hello everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Harshit Jain, who is the founder of Doceree, which is a global network of physician-only platforms for programmatic marketing. Hi Harshit, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ranjan. Uh, Thank you for inviting me to the show.
To start with, Harshit, I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a little bit about your background prior to entrepreneurship and how did you arrive at entrepreneurship?
Yeah, sure. My background, I'm a trained healthcare professional. Last I practiced was internal medicine back in 2006 at Northwestern. Then I quit medicine without knowing what will I do. But I was part of two startups, first in the health tech and big data space in the North American market,
Mhm.
second, the healthcare communication space in Asian market. Did well, got decent exits, made some money, then decided to move to advertising. Worked with one of the largest advertising majors for about 7 years in global leadership roles across three continents. Started as the MD for India, then moved as the MD for Asia Pacific, then made a move to London to lead growth for European business, then another relocation to New York to lead the digital data and innovations business. Quite an eventful stint. Worked with majority of big pharma, learned a lot, did some amazing work which won all possible awards that exist in advertising. And when there were no more awards left, I decided to quit to solve one of the unsolved problem of pharmaceutical marketing, which is how to engage with physicians on digital in a measurable and a transparent manner. So it's been over 4.5 years now since we started DoCare and have been growing at a very rapid pace.
Okay. Just curious to understand one thing. You decided to quit medicine and you got into business. How does that happen? How does a doctor stops practicing and what made you to take that decision?
Yeah. So I think my response is serendipity. Right? I think it just happened, and I believe that. See, I think studying medicine is just one discipline, like any other discipline, right? When an engineer goes and does an MBA, a business school program, it's similar to what I did after moving from medicine. And I feel I'm now using the knowledge of medicine that I gained during my early years to solve much bigger problems than being able to help few patients.
Got it. Now help us understand the venture. What does the venture do? What is the underlying problem that you are trying to solve, and how big is this problem?
Mhm. So we help pharmaceutical companies to do hyper targeted messaging to physicians in professional environments. Right. See, we look at the penetration of digital within the pharmaceutical marketing ecosystem, and
Mhm.
especially around HCPs. It was very limited. Yeah? I would say pre-COVID,
Okay.
the investments were less than 5% of the total marketing budgets. While if we compare it with the consumer side of the world, investments on digital ecosystem were more than 50%.
Mm.
And that's what, and because of these limited investments on digital, we see a lot of inefficiencies and a lot of ineffectiveness in the way how marketing is done, right? And it is leading to the increased cost of healthcare, which is hard to control. And that's what we are trying to impact. How do we bring efficiencies and effectiveness in pharmaceutical marketing, which will eventually have a impact on the cost of healthcare?
Okay. I understood the problem. It's very easy to, find out a problem, but this is also a very big problem, very complex problem, which is why even large pharmaceuticals with the billions of budget into marketing, they're not able to solve this even today with the all the technologies in that in their hand, AI and geographical targeting, everything in their hand. But they're not able to solve this. How are you going about solving this problem?
So when we kind of do a deep dive, right, into the marketing ecosystem, right, we found out that most of the channels or tactics a pharmaceutical company is investing or spending is primarily at the top of the funnel, top of the marketing funnel, right, which is non-targeted, right, which is away from a business outcome. Then we
Mhm,
started looking at the middle funnel and the bottom of the funnel, where the medical journals and the point of care platforms fall. And it was all scattered and unorganized, which was difficult for a marketeer to get access to or start utilizing. And
mhm.
that's where we are focused on. So, created the largest global network of physician only platforms, which is the endemic ecosystem that we created. And similarly for the EHR, the electronic health record and patient platforms also, right? So now a pharmaceutical brand is able to access a physician when he's thinking about the patient in the middle of the care, right?
Okay.
Imagine of this as advertising on an e-commerce platform when you are close to making a purchase of buying a sneaker brand, right?
Mhm.
Here, when the patient is in front of the physician, we are able to showcase a brand message which is relevant to the patient, and it is also aligned with the preferences of the physician.
Got it. And what's the underlying components that empower this technology? Like, how do you make it happen?
It's our patented technology. We have three patents for this technology, and there are three more in the pipeline with US PTO. What it does is, it first helps in identifying who the physician is, right?
Mhm,
Then it pulls a physician graph to understand that what does this physician like to do, right? How many similar patients does he see? What has he done with the other patient? Does he has affinity to a brand? Does he have affinity to a category, manufacturer, etc., right? So
mhm.
it's a very detailed, over 200 parameters are studied for this physician graph. Then it tries to understand who is the patient sitting in front of the physician, right? And that's the most tricky part, while keeping it HIPAA compliant.
Okay.
Now, when you understand that, then the fourth component need to understand is, what are you doing right now? Are you taking history? Are you writing a diagnosis? Or are you writing a script? Right? After understanding these, then the right message is published to the physician inside the EHR platform.
Okay.
Right? And again, it is just means to the decision to use or not use the message is of a physician only, but an appropriate message is displayed to the physician.
Got it. And how do you get inside the healthcare portals? Like, do they allow advertising inside the platform? How do you pass through those complexities?
We have a business development team who partners with most of the electronic health record platforms. And then our patented technology is then integrated in the most regulatory compliant and HIPAA compliant manner with these platforms, which
Mhm.
helps facilitating the right message to the physician.
Got it. And another thing, when I was going through the LinkedIn page and the website of the brand, I saw these two words together, data and creativity. Uh, so can you give an example of how you are blending these two elements, data and creativity together, for bringing out innovative solutions?
Great question. I think data is as good as you can make use of it, right? As I was talking about the ability to build a physician graph, right? It's our ability to understand who is that physician, right? And if you can use that data to understand the physician and then craft a message that works for that person in particular, the
Mhm.
outcomes that will come as a result of that messaging or advertising would always be way better than a non personalized, non targeted message.
Okay. Got it. And what is the plan for India market? Have you been able to crack the India market as well? Is there any plan to enter? How do you go about it?
We work in the India market also. We work with most of the pharmaceutical manufacturers in India. Although the adoption of digital in India is still limited, but it is growing at a very fast pace. The
Okay,
availability of data that is there in India versus if I compare it with the US or any other country is limited. But as India is moving towards a digital economy, and there are so many initiatives that the government has planned and already leading, we're very positive that this scenario will also change over a period of time.
got it. Can you explain a little bit about the monetization model? Because many of the founders don't crack this part well because they don't understand how to monetize the platform well in the and what are the different streams of revenue that are possible. So can you tell us how do we make money as a venture and from what all sources?
Sure. So, as I said, we have a patented technology platform which we provide access to pharmaceutical manufacturers and to the agencies who work for them. And we charge a subscription fees for that platform, right? That's
Mhm.
number one business model, considering we are a technology company. So, this SaaS revenue is very important for us, right? Then, second is on the utilization of media that is done on our platform where we charge on a per impression basis.
Mhm.
Right?
Okay,
Then there are other value added products, data products that we have. That's our third revenue stream for on which we make money.
got it. And I've been hearing a lot about machine learning and AI entering the healthcare space. And every company in healthcare space is sort of trying to embed AI to their stack of products, either as a separate offering or as a blended offering. For example, even pharma companies are using AI to do research on drugs, etc. So tell us how you have been leveraging AI or machine learning or any other advanced technologies in your platform.
So I think AI has reached that stage now where it is no more a gimmick, right? And if you don't adopt AI now, you will be left behind. So it's
Yes.
very important to, I think, stay close to that. The way we and more data you have, more chances of using AI to further improve your efficiencies and effectiveness, right? And that's how we are using AI to solve problems for our customers, right? So
Mhm.
our all the algorithms that we use to understand the individual, right, the entire physician graph, and then predict what would the response of that physician be, right, is a great use of this AI application. And it becomes more and more intelligent, more and more smart as we keep gathering more and more data,
Mhm.
right? So I think optimization and efficiency is one key aspect of this. A component before this or related to this is identification, right? We're using AI to identify and predict with a deterministic accuracy that who is this person.
Mhm.
Because if you know that person, then you can personalize it so well,
Okay,
right? So using to identify, using to optimize, and using to improve the performance of whatever we do.
got it.
It is not just in the platform. Internally, we have a strategic imperative of to be an AI first organization. So we encourage all teams, right, whether it's a marketing team or an engineering team or a business team, to start thinking about AI, to start using tools that are available that can help in improving what they do and how they do.
Got it. Um, can you share some real world case studies or success stories that you have made where you made a sizable difference for a physician or a pharma company or any other stakeholder?
So multiple such cases. I can talk about maybe few of them. So there is a drug uh, that came to us in this is US,
Mhm.
where it had it was nearing patent expiry, right?
Okay.
And 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 they were seeing that the drug is being replaced by a generic molecule at the pharmacy,
Mhm.
right? This was a real problem that physicians were writing the prescription for that drug, but pharmacists were replacing that with a generic drug,
Okay.
right? This was a problem that the brand came to us with, right? How we addressed this inside the EHR, there is a provision to check a box called dispense as written, right?
Mhm.
Which means the pharmacist should dispense the way physician has written, and he should not substitute the drug. So we
Okay.
created a campaign using our technology to help with that, and that helped the brand increase the number of prescription refills significantly, right? Then there is another drug who was struggling for recruitment of patients for a clinical trial,
Mhm.
and they were using all possible ways and means to reach out to patients directly to recruit them, but the eligibility criteria for recruitment was so complex, a lot of false positives were being reported, right?
Okay.
They came to us, and we were able to identify the patient with the right eligibility criteria and started communicating to physicians when the right eligible patient was sitting in front of them, that this patient might benefit from this clinical trial. You may want to refer him to this investigator.
Mhm.
And we kind of completed the recruitment for that clinical trial in 8 weeks' time.
Okay. Interesting. Um, Okay, so now we will come to the next part of the discussion, which is around your personal journey as an entrepreneur. So tell us, what has been some of the challenges that you have faced during your entrepreneurial journey? Because entrepreneurship is inevitably includes a moment of failures and setbacks, and challenges are the part of the game. So tell us what all big challenges you have faced.
Entrepreneurship is always like ups and downs, right? And only when you see the downs, you start appreciating ups. And I think for any entrepreneur, right, there are moments that come when you think, oh, it's all over now, and you can't recover, and it is done now, right?
Yeah.
There are lots of such moments that come in the journey, but I think it is important to stay focused. It is important to believe in yourself. It is important to keep moving forward, and that's what I have believed and practiced all my life, and it has helped. But it does take blood, sweat, and tears to build a
Mhm.
startup.
Right.
Literally, blood, sweat, and tears, all three are required.
Yes. And speaking of that, I think many entrepreneurs say this, that uh, there is no work-life balance in entrepreneurship. Your work is life and life is work. There is no line between the work and life. Unlike a job where you do these many hours and then go home, you have a private life of your own. But as an entrepreneur, the buck stops at you, and you have to be always available at critical moment for doing firefighting and whatnot. So tell us, how have you been managing that, and what happens when you feel exhausted or you don't have the bandwidth anymore to handle things?
Yeah, see, it's an interesting and a little controversial area, right? And see, as an entrepreneur, right, you are kind of in an always on mode, right?
True.
Alert, active, right? And more than work-life balance, I believe in work-life integration, right? Make your life work in a way so that nothing is disturbed, right? You can't disturb your personal life for a professional venture, and vice versa, right? And it is more discipline how you create, how you're able to maintain that, which helps you in balancing the two or integrating the two. Like, for example, I never take my laptop home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do anything after I go home. I don't work on the weekends, right? But I spend extended hours in office, right? And when I'm here, I'm continuously working. But as soon as I leave the office, right, I try to shut down, because that helps me in charging up for the next day.
Okay. And sometimes as entrepreneur, you also have to take tough decisions, such as, let's say, laying off a group of employees, or shutting down a business unit, shutting down a product which you kind of built with passion, or something like that, just giving examples. So can you tell us some of the tough choices that you have made, and um, give some examples around that?
I think such moments always come, right, in anyone's life when you are leading a business, right? But I think those decisions always have to be taken in the business interest, because you're responsible for running the business. But I think it's important to be human, right?
Mhm,
Even you are taking those business decisions,
mhm,
and I think that's what I have practiced, and it works, right? Those decisions definitely look hard at times, right, to people who's losing a job, right? There is no better way to communicate that decision, right? But if you communicate it humanly, right, and you understand the human aspect, and do whatever you can in your limited capacity, right, at that time, to comfort the person, right?
mhm,
Versus just being inhuman and just shutting down the system and sending an email, oh, we are laying you off.
mhm,
Versus you set up a call, talk to the person, explain what is the reason for you to take the decision, right? And why are we taking this decision, right? It brings a lot of difference. So I think being human is very important, especially in difficult times.
okay, got it. My last and final question, and then we will close. Tell us, what have you learned about the process of entrepreneurship, and what all things that you have learned that others can take away, so that they can, when they are starting out as an entrepreneur, they can have two, three things in mind, so that they don't at least fail, or at least have a higher chance of success when they start out.
I think my biggest learning has been uh, stay focused. There are a lot of moments, lot of opportunities that come along the way, which look easy, which will take you away from what you started to build. Okay?
Mhm,
But don't get deviated. Always stay focused. And it does not mean that if something is not working out, you just keep doing that. Okay? You have to be receptive to your customer's need, pivot as required, but don't deviate. Right? There is a lot of difference between pivoting and deviating. Right? So staying
mhm,
focused is very important, and and staying optimistic, as a startup founder, right, who believes in a vision, right, who believes in making impossible possible. You have
okay.
to be optimistic, right?
Mhm,
If you leave that optimism, it will become hard for you and your team to chase an impossible task.
okay.
So these are, I think, two big learnings for me, that I try to think about every day and practice.
Got it. Well, on this note, we will close the session. Thanks for joining us, Harshit, and sharing your journey with us. And it was our pleasure to have you on our platform.
Thank you so much, Ranjan, for inviting me to the show.
Thank you, Harshit.